Hello, friends. Robert Bevan here, author of the Caverns and Creatures series of comedy, fantasy novels, and short stories. With me is Sam West, and today we're breaking down our top 5 picks for level 4 wizard spells and our pick for the worst.
I didn't cheat this time. I
Oh
was really, I
no!
was really tempted. There was a point where I was cheating, and I was like, I don't like this fifth facade bell anyway. I'm just gonna make it two.
Our
So
viewers are going to be disappointed.
that I actually only stuck that I stuck to the actual script this time and didn't cheat and put extra spells on this and all that fun stuff.
All right, fourth level spells. Level 3 is the big boost, and then level 4, I feel like spells start to do different things
Yeah,
more.
I think this
Um,
is we're starting to get like the tier of play where spells have to start doing more game like niche powerful things to be interesting.
hmm.
I think we start to see like those effects start to manifest here in a way that they didn't so much in the lower levels. A lot of the lower tier stuff is like it's like you have a servant, but it's a magical force instead of a person. And now it's like, no, I'm gonna transform that thing into a goat, or I'm gonna send it to an extra dimensional plane of existence. And you start to get into like the weirder, wackier, magic magic.
Well, speaking of turning things into a goat, I think this probably made both our lists.
Yep.
Polymorph.
Tom, that's my number one. Yep. Polymorph is really good.
Yeah, this is where I thought you might cheat because I was leaning, polymorph or banishment. Kind of wanted to choose them both, but banishment didn't make my list. Polymorph did.
I did choose them both. We
Did
can talk
you?
about
Oh, all right.
banishment in a second. But yeah, polymorph is disgusting. And the reason that they both made my list is because I think polymorph is better than banishment in that it does kind of the same thing as far as removing a thing for a fight, but then it also is usable on yourself and friends.
Yeah,
And
yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say. But go ahead.
yeah. No, please. I mean, it you pick anything with a CR less or equal to its level. Whenever you get this, it starts at 7. So like you can just any beast challenge rating 7 or low is like giant apes and shit. So worst case scenario, you go, oh my god, I'm so sick and tired of the monk being useless. Be a giant monkey and go kill things, and then they can go be a giant monkey and kill things. Now, granted, they are literally the mentality and mental of the ape. Everything about them becomes that, right?
Well, when you want
Um,
them to kill things,
yeah.
they don't need to like be writing Shakespeare.
Or if you get enough of them together, it's thousands and thousands of monkeys on typewriters. Maybe you can write
All
Shakespeare
right.
with polymorph. But like, it's definitely the kind of thing where you go, I'm tired of being a wizard right now. If I don't want to use this to turn the big bad into a ferret for the next hour, instead I will turn myself into a big monkey and punch things. So I don't have the mental capacity to manage my spell slots right now, and that's pretty fun. Now, granted, like it being concentration means you probably don't really want it to be on yourself because you're going to take a beating when you do it. But like polymorph does so many things that you'd want it to do, and for that reason, it has to be top of my list. It's this is kind of like invisibility is to second level spells. I put polymorph on like it's almost on another level, like spell level worth of power. Like that's how good polymorph is.
Oh, question. All right, how does that work for concentration? Like, if you do have the mental capacity of an ape, then does that affect your concentration saves?
Rules is written, no. I mean, concentration saves, yes, because your stats reflect that, right? So whatever your game stats are for concentration saving throws, you'll probably have a higher one as the ape than you do as a wizard, right? Assuming you're going from a 10 con wizard to a
All right,
18
yeah,
con ape, you'll be getting a +4 instead. So it's actually you're more likely to maintain concentration as an ape, especially if you've got like Warcaster and stuff, because it doesn't take away game statistics ability scores are replaced by the things you remain your alignment and personality. It doesn't say anything about class features and stuff though, so I can't see a reason why you wouldn't be able to, like, if you took the Warcaster feat, use that. I could be
yeah.
wrong. I'm sorry, you're limited in actions by its new form, so you can't like cast spells and stuff in this new form. But the other stuff still works. Like if you're just like better at maintaining concentration when you're getting your head chopped in, sure, maybe I guess that could work.
All right. Well, since you already kind of spilled your guts, you want
Mhm.
to talk about banishment?
Banishment is, I think, 99% of the time going to look exactly like polymorph is, but you can the thing that fails the thing that dies to the save or die cannot get out of it by its buddies, right? Like I think one of the few weaknesses of polymorph is when the monsters recognize that you polymorphed their boss and they throw a rock at it and they turn it back into their boss by dropping its hit points to 0, right? That's how you can kind of circumnavigate polymorph even outside of concentration effects.
It's a big rock.
Banishment, yeah, sure. I
Oh
mean,
no, right? Because you turn them into a ferret. That's right.
yeah,
Yeah,
if they're a squirrel or something, right? Like
yeah.
this kind of gives you this also fun little mini game with polymorph.
I
Where you
was
can
still
be like,
thinking the giant ape, but why would you turn your enemy into a giant ape? Yeah.
no, that thing gets like 6 attacks. Don't do that. But with like banishment, there's no option to reduce its HP to 0. If you pass, it's just gone. And then you have the upside of like, well, sometimes from another plane of existence, and now it's just permanently gone. Sometimes you're just like, yeah, that fire elemental that's currently killing our bard, go away. And then it just stays away. It's just gone forever. And that's very handy. That's very, very good. It is an incredibly powerful effect. And for that reason, like, it has to earn my list. It's only got a minute duration as opposed to the hour of the polymorph. So, like, if your objective is to kidnap the goblin boss and take them somewhere, you can't do that with banishment. Polymorph can do that, but banishment still will be like oh my god, that thing is enormous. This kraken is killing us. Put it in a pocket dimension. We'll deal with all of his cult, and then we'll deal with the kraken in a minute whenever it comes back. And that's just very good.
Yeah, I don't know. Another reason it didn't make my list though is because if I have enemies there, I want to kill them.
Sure. I mean, so my thought process is this gives you a more efficient way to kill them because
Yeah,
now
because
you assembly line it.
more often than not they do come back. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, all right. But like I said, it almost made my list.
It's really powerful. It's my number 5. I think there are really other like because polymorph does what it does so well anyway, and there are other very powerful 5th level spell or 4th level spells. It probably should be my number 4, but it's my number 5. But yeah, we can keep going. What's your next?
All right.
We already did banishment.
Yeah. All right. Polymorph banishment. I got conjure minor elementals.
That's my number 2.
Yeah, that we've talked about this before. I think at length, because you kind of have to.
Yeah, I think this might be one of our longest spell review videos, and it to this day I'm like, oh my god, there's so many methods. There's so many things that it does. I think it'd be useful, quick and dirty, if you want to take summon minor elementals, conjure minor elementals. I'm sorry, it is old school summoning versus the new Tasha's way, so there's quite a bit difference. Rules is written. What happens is you pick which of the tiers you want, and the DM gives you monsters of that tier. So the conjure spells give you like 1 elemental of CR2, 2 of CR1, 4 of CR1 half, 8 of CR1 fourth. I promise you the answer 100% of the time is 8 CR1 fourth. There's never a reason to get any less than that because the value of having 8 CR1 fourth monsters is more than double the value of having 4 CR1 half monsters. And like the CR2 ones are all ass. It's like Gargoyle Laser, and those are not nearly as good as the methods that get weird steam breaths and have weird hidey effects.
All those
and
breath weapons and death explosions.
Yeah, like this spell is a nightmare for DMs that aren't ready for it because you'll just be like, oh my god, wait, I'm sorry, you're putting out how much damage in a cone right now out of what? And that's just, you can do that next round? Excuse me? You start making 8 attacks a turn, you start making like 16 attacks a turn in some cases. Like, the upcasting here is great. All their effects are cool. Oh god, this spell's so gross.
Yeah.
So good. This is like the conjuration magic at its fairest too. Like I think the other conjuration aspects that the other classes get tend to break the game a little bit more, but like giant owls and pixies and stuff that come with the other conjure elementals. So like the conjure spells. So like if you're gonna take one, do this one. This one is the most fair of the lot. So and it's not fair. It's not even a little bit fair. This spell's cracked.
All right, agreed. Yeah, it's a good one. What else do you have?
Next on my list is Greater Invisibility.
I got that one. Ooh, are we?
Oh, we're 3 for 3. Oh, but
no, with banishment, that didn't make my list, but we're close.
Yep.
Greater invisibility. Yes.
I think our lists for these are always like 1 or 2 off at most. We're normally pretty much on the same page.
Well, I mean, greater invisibility for all the reasons. Regular invisibility. Plus, you don't become visible when you attack. That's that's a big one.
It honestly, this feels like the love child of haste and invisibility to me. And I think haste is probably better for its slot, but it being invisible is a really big upside, especially on like your rogues, especially on your like this can go on more characters comfortably to feel good. And like yeah, the fighter making 3 attacks a turn while invisible is gonna be really good, especially whenever they're like, I'm just gonna then take a 5 foot step so they don't know where I am, and then you're gonna have the fun awkward conversations of, well, the monsters heard you and you attacked them and they're vaguely aware of the space, so they're gonna, I guess we're gonna have to try and like fudge our way through figuring out where they're missing, which can be a little bit awkward, but like it's undeniable the raw power here is very high,
But
and even
all
though
right,
it only lasts a minute, it's really good.
does invisibility work like that though? Because with things like blindness or heavy obscurement, all it does is affect your advantages and disadvantages for attacking and stuff. Like, I mean,
uh
you still know where everybody is on the board, right? I mean,
so it's complicated, right? So like if you're like, creatures attacking out of blindness, for example, can have the same kind of effect, right? If a creature is attacking into darkness, if the darkness is a single concealed space, right? Like if you're looking at a 5 foot wide area, they know what space you're in. They can tell, oh, well, we know they're in the darkness. I know what space I'm attacking into. That's just disadvantage. But if you're in an environment that is dynamic, that has a lot of moving parts, or is just wide open, if something comes in and stabs you twice and then moves, you get an attack opportunity on it, which will be made at disadvantage. You'll know where it's attacking you from, so you'll know where it's leaving from if it's not disengaging. But even if that hits, they stand there and can move wherever they want. And then whatever how much extra movement it is, you don't necessarily know the space they're occupying unless there's like clear signs like footprints in mud
mhm.
or like a silhouette in the rain or something. And you can get into this kind of messy, feel very metagamey on the DM perspective. They are like, well, no, you attacked them. They're vaguely aware of where you are. They're just going to run until they hit you. You're going to get into some awkward moments, I think. Some moments where your DM's going to have to like really scratch their head to be like, should I just attack them because we the players know where they are, but the monsters aren't supposed to know where they are, kind of. But they're also seeing more. It gets wonky.
Yeah,
I
I
would just
mean,
recommend like
is this your personal opinion or is this rules as written? Because I mean, the same thing could go for uh, like any large area of effect obscurement. I mean, you shouldn't know where anyone is in there,
I
but
mean, we literally talked about this with Sleet Storm. With
yeah,
this, yeah, you're firing into nothingness. So technically speaking, you don't know where they are. You can like whenever a Sleet Storm goes down, you can know like your characters go, okay, that is where that creature is right now in the Sleet Storm, and then assuming they're like in the rules of the game, we remove the narrative element of things happening cohesively simultaneously, and instead just go, I know it's an initiative after me. You can shoot that space knowing where it is. And that's where area of damage effect spells come up, like Fireball. Like this is going to be something where a dragon fighting something invisible is going to just pick a space and be like, it's probably in the 60-foot cone, and fire a breath weapon probably hit it. But yeah, rules is written. You don't necessarily know the space that the creature's occupying, and whenever you go to make your attacks, you say, I'm attacking into this space, and sometimes nothing happens because there's no creature to hit. And it isn't particularly clear a lot of the times. The hiding rules in this game are kind of ass. The blinding condition is like the most we get for how attacking blinded works, which doesn't seem accurate, but it's what we got.
yeah. All right, where were we?
Greater invisibility
Greater
on both of our
invisibility.
lists.
Yes. Anything else you got to say about it?
It's really good. Advantage
Yeah.
from an attack roll seems great. Put it on creatures with multi attack.
All right, that was your pick, correct?
Sure, go to
All
yours.
right, let's see. What was my next one? My next one was greater invisibility. All right, next one after that, Wall of Fire.
Me too, Bob. Wall
Yeah.
of Fire also made my list. This one, I went around a lot, being like, there has to be a better 4th level spell than Wall of Fire. I mean, Wall of Fire is fine, but like, there has to be a better one. And then Dimension Door didn't quite make the cut, so Wall of Fire did.
Well, I mean, the thing about Wall of Fire is that there's so many other spells that you say, all right, well, this is good if you pair it with a Wall of Fire.
You say so many others. It's like 3. There are like 3 spells that
I
are
feel
really
like that
good.
comes up a lot.
Grasping Vine, Gust, and Thorn Whip are the 3 that come to my mind.
Well, there's Thunder Wave, or
Sure, Thunder Wave occasionally will matter with it.
I'm sure there was another one, but whatever. Anyway, that's why it made my list.
Same.
It's a big wall of fire that you can throw people into.
Or you can just like hold them there. Like Barbarian just shove somebody, grapple someone, right? Hold them on the other side of the wall. Just grinding
Sure.
someone's face into a giant wall of fire seems super metal. I think it's not hard to get 2 instances of damage off wall of fire even without the other effects. I think you're going to often find that it hits a big enough area that you're like, okay, that's like fireball-ish damage, and sometimes it does double that, and that's really, really good when it does double that. And that's why, like, on its own, outside of needing anything else, wall of fire is useful. Because it'll act as a fireball, it'll act as a deterrent, it'll do things that just damaging spells don't. And then you compare it with things like Gust, and then you compare it with things like Gust of Wind, and you can compare it with Thorn Whip, and you give it Grasping Vine and Thunder Wave, and you're like, bouncing people between it, and you're living the dream. They're taking 20 d8 fire damage, and everyone's like, we're the coolest party that's ever existed. That can happen occasionally. That will happen rarely because no players are that coordinated. Let's be honest, but it still has that fun potential upside. There's still gonna be some moments where the diving off a ship mast, the thunder or the Tempest Domain Cleric thunder waves them into your wall of fire, and all the pirates get incinerated, and you're like, that was the coolest thing that anyone's ever done in the history of ever. So I think it earns the slot because it's good enough damage. It has other utility of being like, don't come in here or you're incinerated, and that's great. That's useful.
Sure. Yeah, it's neat if you got a lot of ranged people or spellcasters versus a lot of melee opponents, then yeah, they can just choose to be incinerated or be shot to death.
Yeah. This has also a really weird effect on like game narrative because this really encourages you to stand at the wall, right? This one's like, because if you are those ranged characters or even like melee characters, you want to prevent things from getting to the other side of the wall. So you really want to be at it on the one side that doesn't have the damage because it only does damage on 10 feet on the other directions. Like you pick, it's like a one-way mirror kind of deal. And it puts it in this weird spot of being like, I guess we're just going to go directly up to this giant billowing magical wall of fire and just like nose right next to it kind of deal. But yeah, it's nifty.
All right.
We got all 5 of mine.
Did we already?
Yeah, Banishment was my number 5, and we had 4 others.
Oh, yeah. All right, my last one was Dimension Door.
That one was right up there for me. It was close.
Yeah.
It didn't make my list for the same reason Misty Step didn't.
Made my list for the same reasons Misty Step did.
Yes.
This a little bit different though. This is not something I want to Misty Step around the battlefield though. This is for me. Dimension Door is mainly like, my buddy's on death's door. We got to airlift him out of here.
Yes, it absolutely does that.
But it can also do the opposite. You can, just airlift somebody and yourself into combat when your enemies, maybe didn't know they were in combat.
Yeah, or even behind them, right? This is a gigantic range. This is the world's largest teleport outside of the literal teleport spell, where you're just like, yeah, 500 feet, that's where I'm going. Like, a full city block away, yeah, up there in those mountain sails, we're going behind them. This is a flanking maneuver. They're going to have nowhere to go. The barbarian's going to rumble down the hillside into them, and I'm going to be up here throwing fireballs. It's going to be sweet. I think Dimension Door is very fun. I think it's very powerful in that it'll add some world exploration options that aren't otherwise really available. I think this is the tier where I start really wanting Misty Step because it's cheaper, because I don't care to necessarily use my 4th level spell slots on just teleportation. With things like Conjure Mind Elementals, things like Polymorph, things like Greater Invisibility, like I have powerful concentration effects I want to be consistently getting up with my 4th level slots, and if you only have 2 of them and they're your top end things, I find it really hard to justify using Dimension Door that way. I personally, when I say I find it hard to justify it, I have a hard time seeing players justify using it. I, as a player, adore big, wacky, random nonsense ideas, and I will cast a 4th level spell to go on top of a chandelier to bring it down over fireballing somebody 100% of the time, because that's the kind of player I am. I really love to find the dumbest creative solutions in the room and try and make them happen, and Dimension Door definitely is a way to encourage you to do that, because you can say, I want to be there right now, and it happens. And that can open up a lot of windows and doors that are otherwise closed to you. It's really great in exploration of the world and stuff, like we said prior. This is a way to say, okay, I don't need to see where I'm going 500 feet into that building, and then you see what happens. And sometimes you're shunted a little bit off to the side and you're take a little bit of damage, but you get where you want to go regardless, and you can bring a friend, and that's nifty. The spell does do a lot of things. I just think on most people's character sheets, if you're getting to 7th level and you're like, all right, what are the must-have wizard spells, I'm not sure Dimension Door makes the cut just because I think you'll very often find I would rather just keep polymorphing here. I'd rather just conjure minor elementals here. I'd rather just have the consistent, like, this is where I want to be most of the time, 4th level magic. It's really powerful for the level. And then as you get higher level, when you're like, okay, I got 6th and 7th level slots, or 5th, 6th, 7th level slots to use. Now Dimension Door starts to feel a lot better of being like, oh, it's only a 4th level slot. I get to go all the way over there. That's sweet. Then it starts to feel a lot better when you've got other spells that'll do the bigger, more powerful things that you need.
Well, you still got to take that into account on a list like this, because when we get up to 8th level spells, you can't say upcat or now I want Dimension Door.
Sure.
Yeah.
I acknowledge that. I think a lot of my lists, my aim is that you're getting to the tier, what are my top 5 I want at that moment, and that's where I tend to have mine. A lot of them, like my 1st level ones has Silvery Bars and Find Familiar on it. Those 2 spells are good forever. 2nd level spells has Invisibility, Hold Person. Those spells are good forever. But they also have things like Ryan's Blinding Ice, which is definitely only good in the low tiers. It definitely has things like Fear is really only good in the mid tier, right? Like, and in this particular list, I don't think Wall of Fire is castable once you get past 11 level. It's just like, yeah, I got better things to do with my spell slots than this, and that's definitely where Dimension Door takes over. But if I'm doing it as a 7th level wizard, 7th to 8th level wizard, I think Dimension Door doesn't quite eke out its value that the other ones that we've listed otherwise do.
Fair enough. All right, now the fun part.
Oh,
what is your pick for the worst 4th?
I really hope
what are we on? 4th level?
Yeah. Locate Creature.
Oh, that was not mine.
What's yours then?
Well, no, let's talk about Locate Creature.
Oh God, this felt bad. I feel like this. I spent the whole Locate Creature video to explain to you why this was bad, and I just watched you be like, this
Yeah,
spell does suck.
I remember that.
So
I fought for it, but alas,
this spell is dookie. Oh my God. So, okay. Out the gate, for a spell that's entire purpose is finding somebody, whenever scrying exists, whenever divining the location of things exists, this is a range of 1,000 feet. So out the gate, if it's further than 1,000 feet from you, you cannot find it. And 1,000 feet might sound like a lot, especially in terms of like a battle map. But if we put it in terms of like a city, that's 3 city blocks. You get 3 city blocks worth of finding a person around you. Otherwise, the spell does jack shit. So if we're talking miles, if we're in the wilderness, the spell is uncastably unusable. It's not finding anyone. You have to know you're already within the range of the person, probably using some other divination magic, and then also cast Locate Creature to find them specifically in the area. That's ghoulish overkill. You don't need that. You could simply ask around. You could simply send out scouts, like little elementals, to go look for you. You could simply send out your familiar to go hunt for you. You could use Animal Messenger and have it go ask a guard to come back with you on the relevant location of the located creature, and that'll be more usable than this spell is.
All right, I got one. You lose your child in a crowded mall.
Okay, there you go. You now have a use for Locate Creature, which there is something I think particularly special about calling your child the creature in Locate Creature. But yeah, don't take Locate Creature. It's not worth it. It just isn't. Use your eyes, make a perception check, do some investigating. Like, this does no business being a 4th level spell slot. This would have no business being a 2nd level spell slot. This spell is uncastably bad.
Okay, I still feel like...
Oh, wait, I forgot. If they're in the bath, it doesn't work, because if there's running water at least 10 feet wide, it fizzles.
Well, if your missing child is in the bath at the mall, then, you've got bigger problems.
This is true. Oh, also, if they're in a different form, like if they're disguised or under a polymorph spell, it also fails. So if they're like trying to hide from you, it doesn't work.
Yeah, which they probably are.
Yep. Also, you have to have seen them before up close at least once. So you have to have been within 30 feet of them already.
All right, yeah, I'm not even arguing with you. You keep,
God, this smells bad.
As bad as that is, I feel like mine's worse.
Okay, hit me with it.
Secret Chest.
I kind of agree. Secret Chest is its own kind of bad, though. Why do you hate Secret Chest?
I'm looking at it again. Is that the one with you got the amethysts and stuff that you have to break?
I'm pretty sure Secret Chest is you get a little tiny baby chest that you can store stuff in.
All right, yeah. Which one am I thinking? I'm thinking of anyway. No. Maybe. There's one where you gotta it's like instant summons, I think.
Instant summons, yes.
Yeah.
That's the one where you bind things. That's also awful. Is that a 4th level spell slot? I thought that was higher.
No, it's not. Sorry,
That will
spoiler alert.
absolutely, yes, that
It's
will win the
making my
worst on
list.
whatever spell
Yeah.
level it's on. Holy fuck, that spell's bad.
But for similar reasons, Secret Chest. That's I I don't know. I cannot justify this spell's existence. I mean, I think I think somebody left a comment on our Secret Chest video saying they had a use for it, but even then, I was like, all right, thanks for sharing. Then no, this one, yeah, because you got your little mini chest, and then you could summon the bigger chest, and no,
Don't you love that every 60 days you get a cumulative 5% chance that everything you love is gone
that
forever?
again. I mean, yeah, don't let it go 60 days, sure, but why even have that in there?
And what's even better to me then is like if you do want that to happen, you have to get another chest for 5,000 grand or 5 grand. Like you have to go and get another chest, a secret chest, to not lose the 60-day thing, which is excessive. I think like to me the reason the spell will never ever be good is because Bag of Holding is just really convenient and it's like almost a default party item that players just get around like second or third level to hold all their shit because like so many tables are like, I don't want to deal with inventory
Right.
management. And the DM goes, great, here's the Bag of Holding. Enjoy. And they go, thanks, DM, you're the best. And then you move on. Because like Secret Chest kind of, it doesn't even really solve that problem because it's not that big of a chest. But like
Yeah.
it kind of solves that problem in a really expensive way. I like the spell more than you do, but it's not good for sure. This spell's bad.
No, I just, it kind of angers me. Like, all right, what is the purpose of it? Just to have access to things from home that you don't feel like carrying around all the time?
Hypothetically, yeah. Hypothetically, this would like smuggle weapons into a spot, but then you have to like you get this stupid weird question of being like, well, what do the monsters and people know about the world? If they see a secret chest, they know that means there's a Lehman secret chest here. Is that how that works? And then you're in like a weird catch-22 where he doesn't even smuggle things well. Yeah, I don't know. Plus, like, you can't fit the glaives and shit in a chest. It's gonna have to be specifically like explosives if we're in like a steampunky setting or in like a I don't know, a specific turn of the century setting. It
Or like
seems
cocaine or whatever.
yeah, sure. Just start do some drug smuggling with it. That's the real objective of Levin's secret chest.
All right. Man, that one just leaves a bitter taste in my mouth. I don't
It's
know.
not great. It costs you a lot of gold too. You'll spend a bunch of gold and be like, wow, I can't believe
And
I overpaid for a bag of holding.
Like
that's worse than a bag of holding.
Somebody's just going to steal your little miniature chest, and then all your shit's going to be gone in 60 days.
Yeah. Hold on, I'm curious real quick. How much does a bag of holding cost? Let's find out. Because like it's a specific cost because of its rarity. Okay, so you could get a 15-pound bag of holding. I'm sorry, the bag itself weighs 15 pounds, which holds a billion things, for half of the price of a secret chest. It can hold 250 pounds of stuff in a 30-foot cube. This is a 3x2x2 chest.
Yeah, I mean,
for double the price.
With a bag of holding, you could fill it with cocaine, roll it up, and shove it up your butt.
Also true.
Can't do that with a secret chest.
And you can fit a lot more cocaine in that one.
Yeah.
250 cubic feet of cocaine is a lot of cocaine. I'm sorry, it's 30 cubic feet of cocaine, but it's 250 pounds worth of cocaine.
Oh my. All right. Well, I guess that's it.
Great place to end things off.
Yeah, sure. All right, that was our fourth level spells. Thank you, Sam, and thank you everyone for joining us.
Those of us joining us in the comments below, what spells do we miss? What fourth level spells deserve it? Why is locate monster secretly or locate creature secretly busted? Tell me. I'm curious to hear why you're wrong.
And also we have other videos. We did cantrips, first level spells, second level spells, third level spells, and we will be doing more spells in the future. So go watch all those. Until then, we will see you next time. Bye-bye. Thank you for watching. If you found this helpful, informative, or entertaining, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the like button below. You needn't smash it. A gentle tap will suffice. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to the channel. And make sure you check out the links in the description where you'll find my Caverns and Creatures series of comedy fantasy novels, Sam's full review of the spell, and other fun things.